What's up, everybody? So good to be back. So we're making some changes here. This is the first one of these, or the first two of these actually. My parents and I went and did a double header at the movies tonight. The first one of these I'm doing from my home state of Alaska. So I see if I can get you some shots there. So if you can see there, the mountains right behind the ever scenic Fred Meyer. So first one of these I'm doing from Alaska, so that's awesome. This is also the first one of these I'm doing on my phone. So I have no idea how well the picture is going to be or how good the audio is going to sound. So these could just be crap. So a lot of firsts. And secondly, or thirdly, I can't even count right now, since I'm clearly not driving, we're going to kind of call these ones the walk home reviews. I like to go out in the summer here and take a walk around the bike path. Good exercise. God knows I gotta drop some pounds. You know, shooting on the camera, you can kind of see the double chin thing going on. So sorry for the not so flattering views. So did two of these. So two reviews back to back. What's funny is that, first of all, both these movies have been out for a while. And secondly, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to post this. I don't know if my parents' computer is going to be, fast enough, because it's, my parents' computer, to put these up. So it's possible these might not even get up till I get back to Alaska in July. So these may be really retro reviews. But anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to see how it goes. I'm talking really loud out here on the bike path, and, God knows, people walk and talk to phones all the time, so hopefully nobody will think I'm too weird. But anyway, so first up, we went and saw Me Before You this afternoon. Sweet little British romance. I hesitate to call it a romantic comedy. It's not really a comedy, but it's a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more life-affirming than I think a lot of the trailers and kind of the advertising would have you believe. Now I'm about to go through this tunnel here. Now this is going to be funny because there's not going to be any light until you get to the other end, so I doubt you're going to be able to see me. And secondly, this is going to be interesting because moose tend to come through this tunnel here, so you might see me running the other way trying to review as I'm running from a moose. And we also get some nice reverb. So anyway, it's a good film. I really, really liked Me Before You. I thought it was very sweet, very warm, very real, very natural, I feel like a lot of movies these days are just very fake, very plastic. People are either overacting, especially in a comedy, they're trying to be, so funny. And this, I think, partly because it's British, I think the actors in this were much more natural. They played it very close to the vest, very straight. And I think it made the whole thing come off really well. Okay, we're out. I hope you were able to hear all that. I was going to try to switch hands. Okay, there we go. When you go see a movie like this, you go into it knowing that it's a certain type of movie. Going into this, it's a tearjerker, and they are going to try to make you cry. That is their goal. That's the point of a tearjerker. And I went and saw a play like that a few years ago. I'm not going to name names. And you just got the feeling the whole time, like, everyone's goal is to make you cry. You will cry. You will feel so sad. And because that, at least to me, because that was their goal, or at least that's the way it was presented, whether or not that was what they intended or not, it didn't affect me. It affected other people. A lot of other people were crying. Me, I left that show just going, okay, you were trying to make me cry. So when you try to do something like that, there are pitfalls you're going to fall into. People are going to be expecting it. This movie you go into knowing it's going to try to make you cry, but because they don't force it down your throat, it's all played very straight, very natural. I never felt like I was being manipulated, or never felt like I was being tricked into crying. And so when I did kind of well up a little bit at certain parts, I enjoyed it. I know it sounds really weird, but I enjoyed that feeling of a natural emotion coming over me and not one that was kind of being slammed down my throat. So I give that a lot of credit. Another thing I really like about this movie is the cast. And the cast starts with Emilia Clarke up at the top. She is awesome in this. She is just... I worry sometimes when a TV show, like Game of Thrones is right now, gets so big and the cast is like the biggest thing on the planet for a while. Because I always wonder, what is life going to be like for these actors after this show goes off the air? Are they going to hold on to this? Or are they just going to be typecast where they're just good at that one role? And are they never going to be able to do anything else? And you're seeing that a little bit. Like Kit Harington has tried to do a couple movies, and neither one of them have done very well. They're not very good. And so it does kind of get you going. Is he going to have a big career after this, or is he just kind of a flash in the pan? And I think the person I worry about that the least is Emilia Clarke. One, because I think the blonde wig she wears for Game of Thrones helps almost create a whole nother character. You can barely tell it's her, with her natural hair. And two, this character in Me Before You is so different, so the other side of the fence, from Daenerys Targaryen, that it really shows off her as an actor. And she's so... This sounds very condescending to say about a female actress. This sounds very condescending to say, but she is just so adorable and lovable in this movie. And I mean that in such a great way, that she makes this character so sweet and so naturally sweet. You don't ever feel like it's an act that someone's putting on, that she's pretending to be this sweet. No, she holds up this movie. And this movie has has a great cast, and the cast is almost like a who's who, and that's almost a pun intended, of British, not only just British actors, but British genre show actors. You got the actor who played Mr. Bates in Downton Abbey as Emilia Clarke's father. Jenna Coleman, otherwise known as Clara Oswald on Doctor Who, plays her sister. Emilia Clarke is dating Matthew Lewis, otherwise known as Neville Longbottom from the Harry Potter films. And Charles Dance, otherwise known as Tywin Lannister, is playing the father of the crippled guy. And what I love about the film and about each of these actors and their characters, and this is a credit to the writing. One of the reasons I really love the writing of this is that, again, with romantic comedies or horror movies or any genre, you get stereotypes. You get stereotypical character types. And none of these characters were stereotypes. None of them were the classic, the bitchy sister, or the non-supportive parents, or the jerk boyfriend. They showed like Matthew Lewis's character, her original boyfriend before she falls in love with the other guy. He's a little clueless, but you never get the feeling like he's doing it to be mean to her, or that he's heartless and doesn't think about her at all. Matter of fact, they have a really nice scene where he does say, "I'm sorry, I'm a jerk. I should think more about, things." So all of these characters are three-dimensional, not stereotypical. You see Charles Dance in a movie, and you immediately think, oh God, this guy's playing the jerk. And I was waiting for him to try to sexually harass Emilia Clarke there. And never did. No, he was a very nice character. So it was a story about real people, no villain, no real quote unquote antagonist. Ironically, kind of the weak link of the film, and this is kind of a weak link by default, was the guy playing the quadriplegic gentleman. And it's not that he was bad, because he wasn't. He played it very well. But it's because he was just that typical, I am grumpy at life because bad things happened to me, and oh, she taught me to love again. He followed a very standard arc. And that's not to say that his acting was terrible, because it certainly wasn't. He was very good in the role. And he made the character still feel fresh and new and alive. So I really liked it. If I had any quips, anything to nitpick. Number one, the music selection, the song selection, for me, was awful. Now, I'm really glad they didn't just stick to the standard, one-hit wonder, dime a dozen grab bag of popular songs like you see in a lot of romantic comedies. But at the same time, the songs they picked were so god-awful that they really stuck out. And I don't think that's what incidental music, that's not what background music, that's not what something to enhance the mood of a scene is supposed to do. So the music was terrible. You could get into some debates over, I don't want to spoil a lot, but the character, I won't give you away the ending, but most of you could probably guess. The quadriplegic gentleman is contemplating ending his life. And there's a debate that goes on with you as a person, if you're any kind of person, because everybody has their beliefs on that, on the concept of euthanasia. And the only problem I had, and this is not the movie's fault, this is my fault, is divorcing myself from my own opinions of that, which I won't go into, from the way the movie was presenting. Because the movie was not presenting it as a pro or con. It was saying this is something that the character is considering. This is something the character wants to have happen. And didn't bother going into, is it right, is it wrong, is it this, is it that? It wasn't that kind of movie. So I don't blame the movie for this. But I do say that if you go into it with a strong opinion on either side, it's going to be hard. You see the babbling brook there? Really pretty. Anyway, it may be hard to divorce yourself from your opinion enough to kind of go, let me just enjoy this story of this person and not make it a political statement. That may just be the times we're living in, because these days everything's a political statement. And anytime anybody says anything, it's going to have 50,000 pros and con posts on Facebook. So that may just be me. One other thing before I kind of cut this one off and go to the next. One thing I really liked about this, I don't recognize the director's name, but the director did a really nice job shooting this movie. This movie looked fantastic. And I love movies where they use the natural beauty of the location, and they shot in this gorgeous spot of England and with this huge, gorgeous castle. And it's so nice and refreshing to see a movie where there's no CG background. The characters are actually there. They're not working in front of a green screen. And it just lends a lot of authenticity to it. And the director did a nice job not only directing the movie as a whole, but those shots especially just really captured it. One other thing, if I had another kind of quip, small, pacing. The pacing of this movie was British. And if you've seen any kind of British movies or miniseries or anything, you know what I mean. Very slow, very deliberate. So the Brits like their stuff on a slow burn. I talked about that in the Eye in the Sky video. So that was just a thing. It would have been, I think, it wasn't a long movie, but there were parts of it that felt stretched out. But they put those times to good use with good character stuff, good interaction, character building. So I can't complain too much. There's some parts of it that felt a little drawn out. So all in all, folks, if you haven't seen Me Before You, you need to go see it. It's a great film, really beautiful, and so devoid of sarcasm or insincerity or irony or any of that. It's not trying to trick you. It's not trying to just be the most basic elements of what that type of film is. It's a beautifully acted, beautifully written, beautifully directed piece of work. One of those movies that kind of you go see and you go, hey, this is why this is an art form. I'm not trying to oversell it. I'm just saying it's such a stark contrast to everything else I've seen this summer, and especially the film I'm going to talk about next, So I can't recommend it enough. Check it out if you haven't, all right? So I'm gonna be back in a second for my next movie, but if you don't care about watching that one, fine enough, walk safe, and I'll see you at the movies.